my fellow Americans. If you think you know politics, think again. I'm Michael Cohen, and every week on When You Know, we're pulling back the curtain on power, politics, media, and the people making headlines. On my new WABC radio show, you'll hear conversations from names that you know. People like Jerry Falwell Jr., Anthony Scaramucci, Alan Dershowitz, and many, many more. Maybe, just maybe, we'll even hear from the president. No scripts, no spin, just real conversations with people who were in the room where it happened. And trust me, we've got some very big surprises coming. Look, I've spent years at the center of politics, controversy, and power. I know the players, I know the stories, and now I'm bringing you inside. When You Know, Sundays at 5 p.m. on WABC Radio, and When You Know Unleashed, wherever you get your podcasts. Because with me, you never know who's going to show up.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Now go to line 4. Walt, you're on in Yonkers with Jack Cashel. Good morning to you.
Evening, or good morning, gentlemen. I somehow have a minor connection with both TWA 800 and 9/11. Okay. As a naval reservist with dual membership in the state naval militia, I got active duty call up to go to Riverhead, Long Island at the National Guard Armory, where the naval militia had responsibility for basically taking charge of the debris as it was brought on board from the U.S. Navy. Yes. And we had a briefing by Colonel Intini, who was the commander at the Armory, and basically told us that whatever speculation, ideas you might have, is just keep your mouth shut. But I do remember on the night that the plane got shot down, there was always many reports of a missile going up.
Yes.
So fast forward that to September 11th, and I was teaching in one of the suburbs, and a security guard comes in and tells me, "Hey, Walt, the plane gets hit the World Trade Center." And without even thinking, I said, "Oh, F word," in front of my class, Bin Laden. Mm-hmm. Turns out that we had some neighbors across the street from where I live who were of, shall we say, Middle Eastern descent. They suddenly left the house that they were renting on September the 10th, and of course, made wherever they went to, and turns out that I called a local police person I know, and I got home from school, and state police, local police, FBI checked that house out, and according to a neighbor, overheard discussing the investigators there said that they had found plans in that rental house to blow up George Washington Bridge. So my speculation is that Bin Laden or Iranians or somebody said, "Look, we blow up their plane, the Americans do nothing. We blow up their embassy, with the Americans do nothing. What do we have to do to get their attention? Let's blow up World Trade Center."
You know something, Walt, you bring up really. First, thanks for your service, but in limited time here, it also reminds me, right, Jack, of Operation Bojinka, use airplanes as weapons of destruction. Walt brings up some good conversational points. Go ahead, Jack. I'm sorry to cut you out.
Yeah, in Operation Bojinka, which was a KSM Ramzi Youssef operation, was busted in Manila, I think in '95. They had plans to do two things. One, the most ambitious one, was to plant bombs on like a dozen airliners going across the Pacific, and they were all going to blow up at the same time.
Exactly.
The other one, a little more practical, was to charter a plane, take a charter plane, and stuff it with explosives and attack an American target. I don't know which the targets weren't designated, but they could
like a pre-9/11, right, with commercial airlines.
That's right. Or they could have just tried to do it to take out a commercial airline like a 747.
Sure.
So, but Bojinka was real. Ramzi Youssef was in prison at the Metropolitan Correction Center in Manhattan at that time. Mm-hmm. And Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the 9/11 mastermind, was deeply involved in that as well. So there were bad actors out there.
Absolutely. And I gather Ramzi Youssef, I think something he said, I guess, and tell me if I'm right on this, I think I read it somewhere in the back of my mind. I remember the first World Trade Center bombing. They get him, and then all of a sudden he says, he said, we didn't take the buildings down this time, but we will, or
That's
something
right.
to that effect. That was
You're
continuous.
absolutely right, because what they did is in the 93 World Trade Center bombing, in which I think about a half dozen people were killed, but their goal was to have one building topple over into the other, right? Mm-hmm. And they made some mistakes. For one thing, they rented the car and gave their real IDs when they rented the van, right? Sure. And they were able to bust them quickly. But the other thing is that the place they parked the car, parked their van with the explosives, was if they had parked it in a more strategic place, they might have even succeeded in what they were hoping to do. They were totally disappointed at the outcome.
Absolutely. And using aircraft as weapons of war is certainly something our government knew about for quite a long time, and not to be
That's right.
Stick a dart on somebody in any administration. I think the Clinton administration knew about this, even if they didn't act.
Yes.
The Bush administration,
Right,
I
because
think, in their daily briefing,
again,
they didn't
I know
respond.
Right. I know from Buzz Patterson, because he carried the documents around, that Clinton had seen the Bojinka plans and signed off on them. And personally, I think that's what Sandy Berger was looking for when he risked his career and his very freedom to pilfer documents from the National Archives.
Well, it goes deeper than that, I guess, and I'm just remembering this. Sandy Berger, of course, allegedly or factually steals government documents, maybe on this particular episode of TWA 800. And let me get specific, in his underwear and socks. Is that a fair assessment? Oh, my God, or how he took it.
He stuck him down there. Took him back
That's
in a minute.
crazy.
Took him back to his apartment and shredded them.
God.
And,
Hey, cover
and
up.
what happens to him?
Cover up.
These are
Right.
original state secrets, original documents. The DOJ, nominally under George Bush, but being run by Democratic lifers, recommend a $10,000 fine for that act.